Apple's CarPlay Ultra, Steam's data leak, and what? RTX 5090. That's pittance. Let's get into hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. It's Friday, May 16th, 2025. Let's get into it. We're going to start off today with the announcement of Apple's CarPlay Ultra. This has been 3 years in the making, the next generation of Apple's CarPlay, their automotive operating system that allows you to kind of have all of your apps on a little screen in your modern car. Well, the CarPlay 2, as it was previously thought to be called, is now called the CarPlay Ultra, and it's currently exclusive to Aston Martins. And it rolls out where normally it's kind of in the center screen that's going on, and then your instrument gauge cluster set up right here, your binnacle, is all for your car. Well, turns out the CarPlay Ultra takes over your binnacle too, and then adds in its own estimation of gas or EV range and your speed and your RPMs, and you can have all of the things you want set up in the way that you want utilizing Apple's CarPlay. Top Gear got an exclusive look at how all of this works, and it's kind of intriguing, but they do note quite a few issues that happen to pop up with CarPlay Ultra, namely that car companies don't want Apple to have full control of all of the screens in the entire car. So there's a lot of work that's going on to make it like bespoke per company and not like one size fits all, which is one of the reasons why it's been delayed since 2022. And then there's the thought of like, oh, so you don't get an instrument cluster until you connect to your phone, but it turns out that's not how it works. The car has its own infotainment still, and then once your car connects to your iPhone, then it all boots up. I don't know how much I like it taking over the center console in terms of the necessary data of a vehicle, such as the speed. I just don't necessarily like that being connected to my phone. That just might be me being an old man shaking my fist at the cloud. I prefer that to be directly connected to the car somehow, even if it is digital, even if it is not necessarily being connected to the axles and that it has a mechanical link so that we know what speed it's going. My millennial brain just wants the car to do all of that, but we'll see how all of this works. Again, it's only on a luxury vehicle right now on a single Aston Martin. It's supposed to be rolling out to more vehicles moving forward. The initial companies, like Porsche was announced as one of them. We'll see how well that plays out, but other mainstream companies like Kia or Hyundai are also supposed to be getting CarPlay Ultra moving forward. There's been no discussion as far as I'm aware of Android Auto kind of expanding into this realm. Most companies are trying to develop their own software. You've got Mercedes working on their own. GM is using Unreal Engine for some of their stuff. It's Wild West when it comes to all the software that's going on in vehicles. But you know what's not the Wild West? Today's video sponsor. Wake up! Wake up! You were having a lucid dream again. You just kept muttering Silverstone is today's sponsor over and over and over again. Let me tell you more about the Lucid 04 Micro ATX case to ease your little noggin. The Lucid series from Silverstone are cases that let you show off more of your build with tempered glass on the front and left side. For the fourth model of the series, the Lucid 04 employs a compact micro ATX profile that stands out compared to the most larger ATX models out on the market. It'll easily swallow high-end components such as AIOs up to 280 mils or GPUs up to 350 millimeters long. Yeah, this means even 5090s can fit, so you can build yourself a very powerful but not overwhelmingly large system that you can proudly show off on your desk. Best of all, this case is not only super affordable, but a great way to get started on a PC. The Lucid 04 includes 3 ARGB PWM fans and hub for well under $100. So more of your hard-earned cash can go to your CPU and GPU. If you're looking to downsize your New York apartment-sized case, check out the Lucid 04 from Silverstone via the link in the description below. As always, a huge thank you to Silverstone for sponsoring. Well, just like Silverstone can keep delivering great cases after great cases, Sony turns out that they can continue to deliver great headphones after great headphones because the reviews for the Sony WH-1000 XM6 dropped yesterday. Turns out they made the best even better. These are the headphones that I have used for travel primarily for the last almost decade. The Sony WH-1000 XM2s were the first ones that I picked up, used them for traveling to Computex, going to Taiwan, for all of the travels that I did between the US and South Africa. Had plenty of mileage on them. I still have them. Actually, I let Reece have them, and then when he came back here for the charity stream last year, I upgraded to the XM4s, and the XM2s are downstairs still, the OGs that we had here at UFD Tech. Anyways, the XM4s, we absolutely love them. We never really upgraded to the XM5s because they weren't as portable. They don't fold up as well. The XM6s allegedly get better sound quality, get better active noise cancellation, and then also have a few more tricks when it comes to just making them slightly more compact and bendable. They do come in at the same price point as what the XM5s previously were, $450. I looked on Best Buy. The XM5s are now down to $350 and the XM4s are down to $299. XM4s are just still a solid pair of headphones for active noise cancellation. Can't recommend these enough. We're not getting paid to say any of this. Fortunately, these are launching during the time frame where people are traveling over to Taiwan for Computex, so maybe they can utilize the XM6s to keep their noise cancellation cancelized. And Reece, can you cancel some of the money that tech costs by bringing it down?
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals on the internet. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you guys are ready for the weekend, and I'll send you off into it with some deals. Starting off, we have the Logitech G502 Hero Wired Gaming Mouse, which you can grab for only $37.99, making it $12 off. I know every single one of my friends who has one of these and swears by it has like 6 backups sitting in a drawer in their house. So if you want to add to your backup list, here you go. But then next up, we have the Silicon Power US75 Gen 4 NVMe M.2 SSD with the 4TB variant going for $189.99, making it $25 off. And then lastly, we have the Samsung Odyssey G6, which is a 27-inch 1440p 360Hz QD OLED gaming monitor, which you can grab for $566.99 with the included promo code, making it $333 off. And hey, with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, here's the deal when it comes to the Valve Steam data leak that's been reported all across the internet. Now, if you watch this break as a news story, you might not have the full picture because there was a lot of stuff going on. There was a report that there's 89 million pieces of data that got leaked from Valve, and that some people were saying that it was personal information that was tied to people's accounts. There was reports that it was actually based on the secondary authentication setup that Valve has, and then some people said it was connected to Twilio, even though it actually wasn't. And now Valve has actually come out and put out a statement regarding all of this to know exactly what happened here. So it does look like Valve Steam was not hacked. It was a third-party service provider who is servicing things like the SMS notifications that you get when you're trying to log into your Steam account. So it looks like there was a breach there. However, the only data that actually got breached was phone numbers and the actual login codes. But for a couple of reasons, that's not necessarily such a big deal because, number one, the phone numbers are not connected to a Steam account. They are just raw phone numbers in a database. They're not actually being linked back to whoever actually owns the account. So it's just as good as having a random phone number thrown in there. Secondly, when it comes to the login code, even though those are connected to the phone number, they expire after 15 minutes, so this entire database is already obsolete and you can't log into anything, even if you happen to have the person's phone number because you knew them personally, and then you also knew their Steam ID and their password, and then you tried to get this, you still couldn't log in because the Steam codes are far too outdated. So nothing was breached in terms of people knowing what's going on with the internals of Steam. Phone numbers are leaked, but only in the sense that phone numbers are in a database, not that they're tied to anything that's going on with the Steam accounts. And then the codes, again, are useless. It's not that there is no data breach that happened. However, it doesn't seem to be tied to anything that you necessarily need to do with your Steam account. Valve still does recommend that instead of using SMS authentication, you use their Steam Guard mobile app. This is their opportunity to plug that. There's plenty of reasons why SMS authentication is just not safe for this reason, as well as things like SIM card hacking and all of that. There are ways to get around the ability to use SMS as an authentication technology. So this could just be a wake-up call to up your security standards, even if you're not necessarily having to worry that your Steam account's gonna get hacked into right now and they're gonna steal all of your CSGO knife skins. And I wish Nvidia would sell this skin as a gaming card. The RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell card finally getting benchmarked. This is what the RTX 5090 could be if it decided to actually go get a job and become a real graphics card for once. It's the full-fledged GB202 GPU. It's got everything that the RTX 5090 is slightly lacking, a few more CUDA cores, 25 more watts of TDP, and then 3 times as much memory, coming in at 96 gigabytes of VRAM. Obviously, that's not necessary for a gamer, but based on people who have been able to finally get their hands on this card and they're benchmarking it, what they found is that it's between 8 to 10% 20% faster than the RTX 5090. It looks like that's the case for both synthetic benchmarks, what we found in 3D Mark Time Spy and Time Spy Extreme, but also in gaming, it does look like the Pro 6000 Blackwell is faster, but you are definitely paying for that because it's roughly over $8,000, making it one of the most expensive cards that you could possibly get on the market, but it is still a 2-slot card. So if you want the fastest 96GB GPU that you could get your hands on, the RTX Pro 6000 appears to be the deal. And what's the deal with your comments? Let's go and find out what you had to say in yesterday's episode of Hot News. We got Roy saying, "It's all right, Brett. We're here for you. No need to cry. We'll get cookies and a B770 for you next time. You promise? Promise. I'll cry again if you don't. I'll be sad again." And then a no buddy saying, "The ending of this video got me so good, I was actually crying of laughter. Well played, Brett." And then Devin saying, "I legit never noticed the gun blade till now. Holy crap." Yeah. I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces of nerd merch that I've ever purchased. We got that back in 2020 when we were getting our Florida office set up. That was like part of when Reece and Catlin were here. Had that for quite a while, never really figured out how to mount it, and then we 3D printed like a sword stand for it, and now it's properly set up here. I'm gonna miss that when I move, but we'll leave it here. Somebody else will get to enjoy it. We got a lot of cool stuff on this set. I kind of tweak and change things every now and again. We've got the Intel controller here. We got the Chrome dyno right there as well. We're gonna be updating things as time goes on, but this set's not gonna last for too much longer. Then Handheld Gaming for Life saying, "Dude, I actually think it's Expedition 33. I felt a welling up like this several times now. It's the combo of the music and the voice acting and story really hits you in the feels. To drive home a point, I just punched the air and shouted, 'Yeah!' when I finally dropped that second axon. I was in my car, my poor hand. Not felt this level of investment in a game in a long time." You were playing Expedition 33 in your car? Also, drive home a point? Were you driving home? Are you double entendreing me with your words? Regardless, just speaking of the Axons, I was way over leveled for them. I beat them without actually getting to see them attack. So in case anybody doesn't want any sort of spoiler, I'm just gonna mention the name of an area in the game. That's it. I'm not gonna mention anything more, but I did finally beat the Endless Tower last night. It took me 3 hours to beat the final boss. It was brutal, but I was happy. It was good. And then Gremlin saying, "No Computex trip for UFD Tech." We're going. It's just next week, man. It's not this week. Well, the Computex starts on Monday. There's time to get there, hopefully. And then Holthuisenmote saying, "It's probably an AI Intel bot. That would suck." I didn't even think of that, and I saw a couple comments like yours, and I was like, yeah, that could be it. They could have unleashed an LLM on Twitter and then gotten everybody's hopes up. Oh boy. Oh man, well, we'll find out next week. We'll see what's going on with the B770, and I'll see what's going on outside of the Hot Newsroom. See you later.